1974, Haynes Total Healthcare has been proudly serving the Chillicothe community and surrounding counties, providing exceptional care to over 50,000 patients every year. Whether you're seeking chiropractic care, physical therapy, or nutritional guidance, we've got you covered. From athletes to seniors and from pediatrics to geriatrics, we treat patients of all ages, helping you live pain-free, stay active, and feel your best. With a place in the top 1% of clinics nationwide, you can trust that you're in good hands. We're open 6 days a week, ready to serve your family for years to come. Haynes Total Healthcare Center, where healing happens for every stage of life. Call for an appointment today or visit us at hayneshealth.com. Well, I'm Jeran Cox, back from my absence last week, and got Matt Hoops to my left and Christian Spradlin in front of us, as always, and ready for another good show tonight, guys. And you know, had the NFL draft last week, and I figured we might as well go ahead and talk about that. I know we're Browns fans in here, and I feel like we won the draft.
Christian says he's a big Browns fan on the other side of the desk there. Can't hear him or see him, but that's what he's saying. Yep. Just let everyone know.
No, I feel like, you know, I think there's a couple picks I really like that the Browns made. My biggest pick I like was probably Quinshon Judkins, running back out of Ohio State. I feel like he really fits the Browns system, Coach Stefanski's system really well, kind of a power-type runner. Really, he kind of imitates Nick Chubb a little bit, in my opinion. I think that's a really good fit for them.
I think it's just he's a good AFC North running back.
Yep.
If you think about that division and the types of running backs they have, I think he's a really good one. And I think they've got, the pick that they had later on, the running back from Tennessee, really complements him because he's more of explosive, maybe a little bit more speed. But I think two really good running back picks. I really like their first pick, especially trading back to get that first-round pick next year.
That's huge.
So, you know, the Jaguars, I'm going to assume we'll finish probably toward the end, and we'll have a really high pick there. And the Browns will be the Browns, and we'll have another really
two
high
top 10 picks, man.
And we'll be able to package those together and do something special with it. But, you know, obviously
we got to win the draft because we don't win much else. Right?
Nah, we don't win. We got to win the draft, you know. 1 year we won the preseason, went undefeated. One of these days we're going to figure out how to win during the regular season maybe and make the playoffs. But I don't know. Overall, I think it was a solid draft. I really like that number one pick for next year. And I think you got to talk about the elephant in the room, the fifth round pick with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, I in the fifth round, I absolutely like it. I think it's a steal. Probably first, maybe early second round talent. And when he's still there in the fifth round, I think it's a no-brainer. You got to go get him, especially with all the quarterback problems the Browns have had. But my question is, why did they take that third round pick on Dylan Gabriel?
Right. I think it was a fourth round pick.
Fourth round,
right.
Yeah.
But that one just blew my mind.
Yeah.
You still need help on the offensive line. You still need some help on the outside at wide receiver. And of all quarterbacks, why him when there were still other ones that were ranked ahead of him? You know, Will Howard, Kyle McCord, guys like that you know were still in play. And that one just threw me off. I almost fell out of my chair watching it actually when they picked him. But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Yep, no doubt about it. Well, we've, baseball and softball, they're well into the second round now of league play here in the SVC. And shoot, before we know it, we're going to be starting tournament play. Probably, another 2 weeks maybe?
Yeah,
I wouldn't think it'd be any longer than that.
No, I think probably 2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks will be in the middle of May. So, yeah, it's got to start then.
Yeah, it might be sooner than that. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not sure with going to 7 divisions if they have to start sooner or if it'll be able to stay the same. Not sure about that. But, yeah, I think we're, 9 games into the SVC. So, 5 remaining?
Yeah, you got 2 league games this week, Wednesday and Friday.
And then probably 3 next week.
And
that's
it. So,
yeah.
It may be next week, the end of the regular season. And Uniota's still on top in the SVC. They're still undefeated, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're 9-0 in league play.
Yeah.
Zane Trace is 1 game back.
Yeah.
I think Uniota's got all their games in. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If the rest of the league has or not, so we'll see. Yeah. I think Zane Trace is 1 game back. Westfall may be 2 or 3 back.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to watch Huntington a little bit too. they're not a bad team either, and you know, they're a D6 team, and they hit Unioto pretty well the other night, about a week ago or whatever, and you know, just like always, feel like there's a lot of good baseball played in the SVC. Softball, you know, Zane Trace is up there near the top. They've kind of taken it on the chin a couple times. Unioto's starting to turn the corner a little bit. I think those two teams are tied at 6-3 in the league, and I think Piketon's leading the league.
7-1. I had a makeup game tonight with Southeastern. I was able to watch the Unioto Piketon game last night. I'm telling you, this Unioto softball team is there's
dangerous.
something. There's something, because what's happened is all of that inexperience is now experienced, and what's happened is they've started to gain confidence. And you know, we're going to have Spencer Smith on here later, and a couple of his players in here. And I'm telling you, the job that he has done this year, inheriting a team where only had one, maybe two players that got any playing time off of a regional team last year, to be able to kind of turn that thing around the way he has is just unbelievable. It's an outstanding job, and you know, looking forward to talking to him later tonight.
I know, you know, we practice Little League Baseball over there at Unioto, and it seems like they're always having a game. And every time I look over there each night, it's like 9 runs, 10 runs. The other night they had, I think, 21 or 22 runs. I mean, they are smacking the ball.
Yeah, and I think that just comes with, you know, just like anything else, with repetition.
Yeah.
And with that comes confidence and experience. It's stuff you can't teach. You have to learn on the fly. And, you know, they're 10-8 now, but I want to say that they've probably won 6 of their last 8 games.
Yep.
So, you know, they're trending in the right direction. Had a huge win last night to kind of knock off Piketon's gold ball hopes down there. I think it was 7-6, 6-5, something like that. And the first time they played Piketon, who I think through the, you know, overall is probably the best team in the league right now. But the first time they played them, it was a 9-8 game.
Right.
So, you know, they're hanging right there with the top teams.
Absolutely. We'll give a quick shout out. Benton County baseball. They beat Wellston the other night 2-1 in 11 innings. That's a really big win for them. I think they're 500 right now exactly, and they're not a baseball, you know, rich school. That's not what they're known for, and they're having a pretty good season down there. Knocked off a couple teams maybe they shouldn't have, but you know, they're playing well. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Waverly boys baseball coach Jeff Noble on the air with us. Welcome back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. Joining us now is Waverly boys baseball coach Jeff Noble. Coach, Tigers come in 8-7 overall and 3-4 in the SOC, and it's really a busy time of the year. I appreciate you coming in and talking to us tonight. So just talk to us a little bit about, what's your team, what they're up to right now, any games you had this week, any games coming up and stuff like that.
I'm not going to lie to you. It's kind of been a struggle. We've seemed like we win a game, lose a game, win a game. With all the new faces in the dugout from our graduating seniors last year, it's been tough getting team chemistry going.
Well, I was just going to say that after a season magical, I would say, that you had last year and the run to the regionals, talk about how as a coach, I know you're wanting that to carry over into the following season, but when a lot of the pieces of that go out of the dugout and you have new ones in it, obviously you want to ride that momentum, but these guys got to understand, what it took to get there, and it's not just going to happen. Just kind of talk about that transition from that to where you guys are right now.
That's true. We had two starters returning, which they're here with me tonight, Will and Hunter. And, we were kind of spoiled because we had a lot of the same players over the last couple, 3 years, and these guys thought that it was just going to be a very smooth transition. But once we got in there and you see that, we got some freshmen playing, we got some guys who played some travel ball, some JV guys, a couple transfers, and it's just new faces and new ways, and it's been a little struggle, to get to playing our kind of baseball. So we'll get there. It might take us a little longer than last year, but whenever you have that many new faces and players, it takes longer than usual.
Yeah, I know. I think I followed you guys maybe on a Facebook page or something, and I know you have a couple freshmen, like you said, but had a player of the game the other day, Cage Alexander. Talk about how he's kind of grown into the varsity game. That's a big jump. He was real successful on the basketball court as a freshman, and it seems like he's picking up steam. Talk about how he's becoming more comfortable for you.
He's played good competition in the summer baseball, but he's really not a freshman. He played varsity football and he played varsity basketball. So by the time he comes to me, he's been through the battles and he just has a great mindset. You've seen him compete at everything he does, and he's been doing a great job for us.
What, you talk about, we got 2 of your seniors out here we're going to talk to in just a little bit. What have they done to kind of help this transition, from, you got a bunch of new faces this year. How, describe some of their leadership qualities that.
Their effort is second to none. They're the guys that come early and get our equipment out. They stay late and get it out. They try to delegate some things, but it's just their effort and their attitude and their ability to try to lead these guys. And like I said, it's been tough on them, but it's a good experience for them.
Yeah, and I think that one thing too is, like you talked about, we keep going back to last year, the run you had, but like that didn't just happen overnight either. Like that took a year or two to get to where they are, and obviously these seniors want to have that happen for them again, and they very well could. But it is a process, isn't it? I mean, you're talking about Cage Alexander right now as a freshman. Well, here in 2 or 3 years, as Cage Alexander as a junior and a senior is going to be a completely different player than he is right now, and he's already really good. So the process, obviously, it takes some time, and it seems like that just always happens in baseball. Every 2 or 3 years, you make that special run. But it's a process. You got to, I don't want to say pay your dues, because in baseball anything can happen, but it definitely is a process, I think.
That's exactly right. I talked to the team about we're 8-7, okay, not where we want to be, but our team last year at this point was 9-6. So there's
Exactly.
1 game difference, and once your team gets player led, that's when you take off, and they're leading, and we just got to get more guys to jump on the wagon and learn how to be led, and learn that it's not about me, it's about we.
Yep.
What, we got 7 divisions this year. What division are you guys?
We're 4.
4. Okay. Well, and that's the one thing, I was going to bring up. You guys play in a really tough baseball conference. You got the Wheelersburg, Lucasville Valley, Menford. You can go down the list. But
Southwesters win the league.
Yeah,
they gotta have
Southwestern. Yeah, they
They
are.
field it and they throw it and they battle at the plate.
And the SOC, that prepares you for that tournament run and a part of your success last year. But it looks like you guys have been playing some good non-conference opponents too.
We always do. We have been competing, but you know, when you don't do the little things properly, then all the mistakes get magnified, and that's what's been happening lately. You know, we'll not backing up a throw, or not getting a bunt down. So we're just not playing our kind of fundamentally baseball yet, but we'll get there.
You guys, I know you guys always played Coach Taylor and Union Yoder. Do you guys, is that still, that's you? I feel like that's later in the season always. Is that a game you guys still play or no?
Well, it's not funny, but when Whitey, because Whitey would always reach out to me and we had it every year. Once he retired, it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. So we try to play later on in the year if both teams are open, but we do not play this year.
Okay. And I think they're Division 4 as well, right?
They're 4.
Yeah.
We always seem like we always play them in a tournament.
Right.
But D4, some teams went up in D3 like Miami Trace and Sheridan and a bunch of good teams, but our D4 sectional is, or whatever it's called now, district, is very tough also.
Yeah.
Coach, how long have you been coaching at Waverly?
Actually, it's basically going to tell you how old I am, but I started helping Tom Monroe as an assistant back in 1983.
Okay.
So,
How long? I'm trying to do the math in my head.
I was born in 82.
Okay.
I
was
younger.
5.
I am younger than Tim Daly.
Hey, speaking of Tim Daly, and you brought this up.
I let it into it.
This is on you, okay? He wanted me to ask this the last time, but I feel like Jeran cut me off before I could ask you this. Talking about little things in baseball and how they come back to bite you. Talk about now. Do you teach like secondary leads from second base?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Well, he told me a little bit of. You want to share that story? He told me the story of maybe you shouldn't teach the secondary lead and why.
Well, I'm gonna try to make some excuses like I tell my players not to do.
They're not listening right now. They're out there.
Okay, sun was in my eyes. I had a 4X helmet on. I couldn't even see. And yeah, I got picked off twice in one game.
Off a second.
Pardon me?
Off a second base.
Off a second base,
Yeah.
yes. It was a Legion game, wasn't high school.
Right. Wouldn't make that mistake in high school.
No.
Yeah, I mean sometimes them summertime games you get long, hot, tired, double headers.
I think it was a triple header that day. We were hungry, had low blood sugar.
Probably didn't even get fed.
No, low blood sugar. I can't remember what else happened, but
I can tell you this. I know you've learned from your mistakes. I know the Waverly Tigers won't get picked off a second. So there was some good that came out of it.
And I appreciate that. Because, that was a tough pill to swallow, and Tim, he won't let me forget it.
That's probably the worst part is how he likes to talk, so that probably comes up more often than it probably should.
And I do have some stories on him, but I cannot go on the air about him. But,
Right. We like our show. We'll keep it like it is.
Hey, speaking of that, I appreciate what you guys are doing. This is great. It's giving baseball some notoriety.
Yeah.
And get some coaches out here and players. So it's really great what you guys are doing.
Yeah, that's one of the things we talked about when the winter show ended. We just talked. I was like, are we going to keep doing this in the spring? It is tough because of it's basically 5 days a week during spring with spring athletics, the way they work and rainouts and all this stuff. And we decided that let's do it and we'll see how it is. Some is better than none, in my opinion.
No, it's great.
And I just think that sometimes you're right. Baseball, softball, track, spring sports, they just kind of get pushed under the rug a little bit because it's starting to get nice out. You got graduation, prom, all these things, but it's some of these kids, it's all they do. And I really I think it's important that we cover them, and these guys made it happen, and here we are.
It is, and they all appreciate it.
Yeah.
What I say is, you've seen a totem pole. Well, baseball, softball, track, and tennis is down here. So This is great for some pub for these guys.
I agree. And thanks for coming in to do it. It takes a lot of time for you guys, the coaches and players as well, because assuming you guys were off today.
Yes.
Or rained out anyway.
Had practice.
Yeah, but you still got to make the time to do it, and that's the reason you coach and you do all this for the kids, and it's very important, and we appreciate coaches like you being able to come in and do this.
It's well worth it for me coming in, getting this free jersey off of Wickline. So I really appreciate that.
Yep.
Brian, thank you.
You eating dinner here in Chillicothe tonight?
We did.
Where at?
Went to Mariucci's or Mariachi.
Los
Mariachis.
Yeah,
There you
these
go.
guys.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to White Castle, but they voted me
Yeah,
down.
let's talk about that a little bit. When we called the last time, you were big White Castle guys.
Oh yeah.
And how do you explain that to these guys? How did they know what they were getting themselves into? Put it that way.
No, they do not appreciate the finer things of life, and that's my job to teach them those things. Now, a lot of them got chicken fries and things like that.
What was that? You should have limited it to
I know,
sliders only.
I couldn't.
How was the bus ride on the way back?
We had the windows down.
I was going to say, I bet you did.
Gee, where are we gone?
We're way off. This is what happens when you start. Coach Daly got us. Once that, we're done.
That's it.
Who do you guys have the rest of this week? I know
We have Berg Wednesday.
Okay.
And then something that's out of my control. We have prom this weekend. We're not allowed to play Friday or Saturday or practice, so it's tough.
No game Thursday.
Nope.
Oh man.
Not right. Not yet.
So then you got to try to get them right back by Monday, which I'm assuming you play.
Yes, we do. We got Medford.
That's tough as a coach.
What
about Sunday?
There's
night?
no
You allowed to
easy
practice?
game in the SOC.
We don't practice on a Sunday, but
You're allowed to this
the
time.
Sunday after prom,
Yeah.
we have them come in unless they has something very special that they can't make.
So what time will you do that? Like
We'll wait
late
till-
afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them sleep in a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
o'clock or so.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I do want to mention this before we get off there with you. I know that, the heartbreaking situation at Waverly a couple weeks ago, and thoughts and prayers down there, and I'm sure it maybe affected some of your players that knew the girl that passed away. But I know that was rough, but we've been thinking about you up here. So
We appreciate that. It's a huge community loss.
Yep.
I mean, everybody liked the girl, and she was just a great person, and you can't replace that. And I don't know how the parents can go through that, but it's just tough.
yeah.
Yeah, it is, and that's what I mean. You don't want to think that sports is all about winning and losing, but a lot of times when something like that happens, it brings your team closer together. It allows the team to see that there is a bigger picture, and I'm sure you guys addressed all of that.
Oh, yeah.
But it puts everything in perspective and allows
Sure
us all to kind of take a step back and be thankful for what we have. But
Yeah.
obviously thoughts and prayers for you guys continued moving forward in the whole Waverly community for sure.
Appreciate it.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming in and talking to us tonight, and we're going to have some of your players here in just a second. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Hunter Hawk and Will Armstrong join us. back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show by Sosa. And joining us now, we have Will Armstrong next to me and Hunter Hawk over there by Coach Hoops. And guys, appreciate you coming in here and talking to us tonight after practice. And senior year, you guys obviously had a really good tournament run last year. And just talk about, how things are going for you your senior year, what you're kind of expecting and wanting to do here towards the end.
Oh, well, we only have 2 returning starters, so it's been a bit of an adventure, honestly. Got 3 juniors on our team, have a lot of freshmen, some new guys that came in, so it's been a little bit rougher than what we hoped. But we're working it out as a team, starting to come together. But
I think we're very unexperienced, so more games we play, the better it would get. And just like last year, we was rough in the beginning, but I think we'll get hot towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I think so too. And as you get older, and my son's like 12 right now, and it's getting to that point where if you have a pitcher, right? Pitching is the name of the game, and they've got you back. And just talk about. We're gonna have you show you how you throw some pitches here in a little bit, but just talk about. How fast you throw. What are your favorite pitches to throw and stuff like that.
So I know this year I roughly say 80. I would say.
Okay.
And then I mainly refuse to throw a 4-seam because, it's easy to hit a straight ball.
Yeah.
2-seam. And then my go-to is my curveball, knuckle curve. And I just rotate it up for a slider, which is really working this year. Back knee slider. It's really good. And then it always got the knuckleball.
Okay, so you got a knuckle curve, a knuckle slider, and a straight knuckleball.
Yeah.
Okay. How was that to catch?
it's not too bad, to be honest. I mean, I've caught him for my whole life now.
Yeah.
So
I got you. So you're catching him, and you say you've caught him basically your whole life. So you trust obviously what he calls, and coach lets you call the game, or how's that work?
No, it's mostly Navi calling it, but in certain situations he'll let me and Hunter decide.
Okay, but like assuming, and that's always scary to do. Are you typically on the same page with what coach is thinking? Like, when you're calling the game, because I know when I used to catch, I used to love it when the coach would let me call it, and I just felt like that was. One of the more exciting things to do, setting pitch hitters up and things like that. But you guys, how far back do you guys go in terms of pitcher catcher?
Basically since coach pitch.
Really?
We've been playing together forever.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. So, as you've gone through, maybe each of you give us maybe one of your favorite memories of a baseball playing, as teammates.
I gotta say my favorite memory is probably just that turning run last year, to be honest.
Yeah.
Knowing that we trusted the fact we had a junior pitcher and a junior catcher back there, and we handled it pretty fine.
Heck yeah, you did. I mean, all the way to the regionals. I mean, I'd say you handled it all right. Yeah. What about you?
I would have to agree. I think favorite memory of us two was me and him. I'm on the mound, him behind the plate.
Yeah.
It's just can't beat it.
No, I get it.
Now when you throw that 2-seam fastball, obviously it kind of tails a little bit, right? Do you drop down any a little bit more than that? Okay.
Right.
Just straight.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. Okay. I used to play some slow pitch softball. I would drop down, boy, that ball would go 5 feet right to the first baseman. I was just seeing if you had any extra movement on it or whatever. But you guys, you've had 8-7, but at this point last year, coach just said you were 9-6. And so obviously you guys are still pitching good and you're hitting the ball well. Obviously, you guys probably right in the middle towards the top of the lineup. Just talk about the kind of season you're having at the plate.
As a team, I mean, we're hitting okay. I mean, we're putting in play. The team's just making some plays on us. I think we've had like 4 or 5 people make diving catches on us so far this year. But we're putting in play, and it'll fall.
That's the thing with baseball. The percentages always shake out, and we already mentioned it. You're almost in the same spot you were last year, and if you guys can continue to improve as you are and get those younger guys up to speed, as the tournament comes closer, what is kind of like your guys' mindset as seniors? And this is it. This is it's a different feeling. I know the feeling you have. It's not the same feeling you had last year. There's more of a sense of urgency. Kind of just talk about that.
I mean, it's just one game at a time right now. Try to enjoy the season as much as we can. I mean, we're over halfway through. It's just hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's flying by, but just got to take it one game at a time.
Are you guys a team offensively? You kind of rely on maybe shots in the gap, or do you guys play more small ball, try to steal some bases, bunt a little bit? Just talk about what you guys try to do offensively.
I think we're really starting to try small ball more now since everything's not falling. Get runners in, just do the little stuff, fundamental baseball.
Kind of try to put the pressure on the defense to make plays. Yeah, that makes sense.
We got a lot of young, fast guys on the team. So.
You guys had any crazy plays happen this year?
Not really.
Not for us.
Not for you.
That, like I said, play the percentages. It's gonna all flip at the right time, hopefully for you guys.
What do you guys do like in the winter to prepare yourself for baseball season?
I catch about every week. Get to bullpens about every week.
Okay. How about you?
Long toss and throw bullpens.
Okay.
Lift
How far
weights.
can you long toss?
What we threw on the football field, it was only 85 yards,
Only,
90
yeah.
yards.
Only
That's
it. Yeah. I was watching some of these videos of Paul Skeens warming up the other day, and just some of the drills he does. That's insane. Like, he long tosses basically the whole length of the outfield. He has this thing behind his neck. I don't know if you
water
guys.
bag.
Yeah, a water bag, and does it. He
Do
does it
those throughout the
left-handed
winter.
too. It's like, what in the world? But I mean, he's arguably the best pitcher in baseball right now, so
Yeah.
you can't argue with it.
I was just watching him. It was like I don't know, maybe like an Instagram clip or reel or something of him, just his warm up routine in the bullpen. Some of the stuff that he does, like, I've never seen anything like it. I guess that's maybe one of the reasons why he's the best. It just all this new stuff that's coming out, just it's kind of mind blowing to me. I don't know.
Yeah, what was that one thing the Reds were real worried about with Trevor Bauer? I can't remember. Something about the rotation of the ball or whatever.
No idea.
Do you know what I'm talking about? No? Okay. It's been a few years. But who's your guys' favorite MLB player?
Mine would probably be Paul Skeens, even though I'm a catcher.
Paul Skeens. Okay.
You think you could catch him?
It'd be interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I could do it.
Right.
Do a lot harder than that.
Yeah, I'd say. What about you?
I'd have to say Ellie.
Yeah, he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
He is fun to watch.
Man,
He's something
He's a
else.
character.
Yeah.
He's something.
That's the best.
He's an
part about it.
entertainer. He's an entertainer, man.
Yeah, a couple years ago, they had the Reds Fest down there in Cincinnati, and they pulled my hat out of a drawing or whatever. I got to go meet him and get his autograph and take a
that's
picture.
cool.
So it was pretty neat. Like, inside, he had those big glasses on,
Yeah.
and the chain. It's like, who is this cat? This is when he was still in the minor leagues, but yeah, I know who he is now.
Oh yeah, everyone does.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Well, Coach, you got anything else for these
No,
guys?
just I'm excited for you guys. Just keep the right frame of mind as the season. Like you talked about, you're right where you're not where you want to be, but you've been here before.
Yeah.
So you guys should be in the frame of mind of knowing what can happen, what lies ahead. And you just got to get that, that belief to the younger guys that are following you, because these guys are looking up to you, and you guys have been here and you've done it, and you've done it well. So just keep that mentality, listen to coach, and best of luck moving forward.
Absolutely. Baseball's a game, man. You get hot.
Yeah.
You guys
Right
know
time.
from last year, it's all
Yeah.
about the timing. So get hot here to finish the year and get back to the regionals. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Spencer Smith, the Unioda High School girls softball coach. back to the Haynes Soto Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show by Sosa. And joining us now, we have Uniota softball coach Spencer Smith. Coach, Lady Sherman's come in at 10-8 overall and 6-3 in the SVC. And I'll be the first one to say it. I'm sure Coach Hoops will jump in here in a minute too. But I think you guys had a heck of a year so far. You guys graduated 8 girls last year from the team that got, I think, to the regionals. And
back-to-back regionals.
Back-to-back regionals. You got one starter coming back, and your girls, they're really playing some pretty good softball for you.
Yeah, right now we're playing really well. Home and away. That was a big thing at the beginning was, we played pretty good at home, and on the road it was like, no matter who we played, we struggled. So it's been nice to kind of find it on the road and at home, and it's a credit to all the girls and the coaches just stick with the program and keep on playing and keep practicing hard, and it pays off.
Speaking of on the road, obviously last night a huge road win at Piketon, knocking them from the ranks of undefeated. That game, I felt like I was able to be down there to watch that. There was a little adversity before the game in terms of we didn't have any umpires. Jeran, I think you were on the game, didn't show up. They had to.
No, that wasn't me.
Anyway, no umpires were waiting.
Yeah.
And just kind of talk about the mindset of your team, before that game, as the Piketon they were field and grounders and locked in. And I look over on our side, we're playing hacky sack.
Yeah, playing some hacky sack.
Just kind of honestly, and obviously, just talk about their mindset and how they've kind of grown up and matured and are able to win some of these road games now, but are loose and relaxed enough to go into a battle against some of the best teams.
Yeah, I mean, we explained it to them yesterday before the game. We got an undefeated team in the league Monday. We got a team that run rolled us on Wednesday, and then one of our biggest rivals on Friday, the day before prom. So it's one of those things where it's like, guys, we're going to find out what we're made of really quick this week. So, I think our girls played loose and confident. And that helps because Piketon's a really good team, top to bottom. They're coached well. They threw a couple pitchers in, just like they did the first game. And, like at the beginning, not having umpires, and you look at the time, it's like 5:30. Like the game supposed to start 15 minutes ago, and it's like we might as well just relax, because if our girls play uptight and nervous and anxious, I think it's probably most teams, most coaches would say that's not a good thing.
Right.
So like pregame, they're fielding ground balls. To me, like last night's game was one of those of where we had nothing to lose, and Piketon was. They knew like if they could get us, they were in the driver's seat. Right,
and I think probably in the back of their mind, they knew too. The first time you guys played 9-8 game, and a couple other factors went into play. You guys were able to get your game in on Friday.
Right,
they didn't. So they've had a couple days off, whereas you guys are still maybe a little bit of momentum going into that game, and like you said, nothing to lose, and you guys played like it. And it was really good to see.
Yeah, and Friday, we were lucky to get that game in against Paint Valley, and I mean, first time we played Paint Valley, it came down to the very last pitch of the. They had a chance to beat us in the bottom of the seventh, so it was nice to get a win over them. And then just a credit to our girls too. Over the weekend, they don't take a break. I mean, I open up the hitting barn on Sundays, and they come in and hit on their own, and that kind of keeps us fresh and ready to go for the following Monday.
Do you think that is attributed maybe to what these girls have seen in front of them, what has happened in front of them, and want to be a part of something like that too?
Sure. Yeah, I think there's a standard at Uniota just for excellence in all sports. And it's almost like letting the classes before you down if you don't perform. And, for our girls, it's doing stuff in the off season. It's doing stuff on your own time. I mean, there's a lot of times where I would just randomly show up to lock the barn up, and there's 2 or 3 of them hitting in there by themselves, not with their moms or dads or with a coach, just by themselves. And how it is with football is the same way. There'll be kids out there hitting the blocking sled just on their own.
I mean, like Ben Griffin, for example. You drive by the football field and it's the middle of the summer, and you look out there and summer nights, man, that's what high school kids live for. And you look out there and Ben's doing footwork drill and lineman drills on the practice field. And, special people, it takes special people to do that. Special things happen when you're able to do that. And your girls you're doing it. And, you guys put a lot of work in the fall. I thought we had a really good fall in terms of weather that allowed you guys to get out there and get familiar with you and become, and familiar. And it's paying off now for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to go back a couple of comments ago about the umpires. I just want to put this out there. If you have knowledge about baseball and softball, they're in desperate need of umpires right now. I'm telling you, I get emails and texts every day. Hey, are you available today? The other day, I got a text at 4:00 in the afternoon. The game started at 5:15. I had to get there.
The Piketon baseball game, you knew the Piketon baseball game? It was officiated with one umpire behind the plate.
Yeah, high school baseball.
High school baseball.
Yeah. If you have knowledge and that's something you're interested in, get into it. I'm telling you, you can work as much as you want, as little as you want. Right now, it's tough for me just because I've got my son's playing Little League baseball, doing this show. I'm umpiring a little bit. My daughter's playing soccer. But I'm just telling you, if you want to get into it, there is a big time need. Now, off that soapbox, you also mentioned about open that hitting barn up. And that's the one thing that I was going to talk to you about, because my Little League team, we practice over at Unioda, so I've got to watch you guys a lot. It's like every time I look over there and you guys are playing, 8 runs, 9 runs, 10 runs. The other night, 21 or 22 runs.
Yeah, they scored 3 touchdowns.
Yes. I mean, talk about,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's just amazing. It's like there's no drop off in your lineup.
No. Well, and I think a lot of the credit goes to our hitting coach, Matt Book. I mean, he's been around the program for a long time.
Yep.
I mean, his daughter is one of the best, probably the best player that's ever played at our school.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
And look at the way she hits.
Right.
So all the drills and stuff that he does with her in the past, we're doing that with all 20-some girls we have in the program. So I think that kind of pays off. The biggest thing is, at the beginning of the year, can we get the girls to buy into that? And I think it's starting to pay off, because I think in our lineup, there's not really drop-off. It's like, oh, crap, our 7, 8, 9 are up. No, our 7, 8, 9 hit the ball.
Yeah.
And they get on base.
Yeah.
And they hit home runs.
Yeah.
And that it's a credit to them, and we talked about this at the beginning of the year, is we want to be dangerous 1 through 9. And if you're a pinch hitter coming off the bench, we expect you to hit the ball. This isn't like just a free at bat.
Yeah, not a courtesy at bat.
It's not a courtesy at bat. So we feel like the people that come off the bench, they can hit, and our 1 through 9 can hit. And now it did take us some time. I think it probably took us 6, 7 games. Up to that Southeastern game, of where we had to figure out, all right, what is our best lineup, and kind of space them out on where we really wanted them. But once again, we 8 players that we had to replace. It did take some time,
right?
And that's on me, But at the same time, it's like, I don't know what all the girls can do. I don't know all their traits. I don't know. So after all those games, it's like, all right, let's reevaluate, and let's pick out who we think needs to be where, and it's paid off, because our lineup right now is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That was actually my next question, was talk about the change that you made and how long it took you. Like you said, 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
How did the girls? How did they handle it? Assuming they handled it well, since they've been playing really well since you've kind of reevaluated some things, moved some people around, not only in the lineup but in the field.
Right.
Just talk about how they kind of took that news and basically have embraced it.
Yeah, and I had some personal one-on-one conversations with a couple of the girls, because you know how it is coaching high school sports. It's like one of those things of if they're not comfortable and they're anxious, they're not as good. So there was a couple that we had to move around just so they felt better in the lineup.
Right.
There wasn't as much pressure, or hey, this girl has been killing the ball. Let's get some fast girls in front of her so she can drive them all in. So like some of the changes we made was putting Mackenzie Welch as our leadoff as a freshman. I mean, she's hitting almost 500 and 5 home runs, and
as a catcher.
And a catcher.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been a difference maker. Like last night, she was 4 for 4
with a home run.
with a home run.
Yeah.
I mean, as a leadoff batter, that's what you want.
And not to cut you off there,
Yeah.
but like, okay, so she leads the game off,
Mhm.
right? But more importantly, she gets the most at bats.
She gets
You know
the
what
most
I mean?
at bats. Right.
You could very easily hit her in the 3-hole
Right.
because she's hitting 500, 5 home runs.
Right.
But what if the bottom of the 7th comes up and you don't get back to her?
And
So
don't
I
get
think
back
that's
to
a
her.
great move
It's a
of
difference.
leading her off.
And I've coached baseball a couple years too, and that's a big difference between baseball and softball. Softball, if you look at all the teams in the league, the best hitters and like the most average, like the
Yep.
batting average and all that are the leadoff batters.
Yep.
Because they, like Coach says,
More
they
bats.
come around
Yep.
and they get one more at bat. And in softball, that one more at bat is huge.
Well, it keeps
Um,
innings alive.
It keeps innings alive.
Yeah.
But the rest of the lineup, 1 through 9 is really good. Haley Hall bats second, and she's right around 500, just killing the ball. Maddie Tuttle started off the year, like at the beginning of the year, batting 7th. We thought with more reps, she'll get better, so we moved her up to the 3 slot. And it's
Should have had a home run last night.
Should have had a grand
Yeah.
slam last night.
Yep, hit the top
really
of the fence.
close. Macy Cox in the 4 hits the ball well. Kinsey Paul, Ken Williams, Isel in the 7. Peyton Robinson bats 8 for us. She's got like 2 or 3 home runs in the 8.
Yeah.
And then Kinsley Batson's come in and
She's almost like a leadoff hitter.
she's
at
almost
9.
like a leadoff, carrying it over from the 9 to the 1.
Yep.
It's I remember when my sister played in high school, they made that switch for her in the lineup for 3-hole.
Yeah.
They put her up to lead off. I
Yeah.
watched 2 or 3 games. They intentionally walked her in the
Yeah.
first inning. Just
Yeah.
put her on base.
Just put her on base. Well, and last night,
It's
like
you
Piketon,
put her on base or you give up a run because
Yeah.
she was going to hit it out.
Yeah.
with Piketon last night, the first time we played them, their leadoff got on 5 out of 5 times.
Yep.
And then last night, second time up, she hits a home run.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, we gotta find a way to get her out because she's tough, man. I
Yep.
mean, she's probably player of the year candidate.
Right. Well, we've talked about your offense an awful lot, and you're scoring a bunch of runs. And talk about how your defense is coming along because you got to pitch well and you got to make your plays in the field if you want to do something in the tournaments. Just talk about that as you guys have developed through the year.
Yeah, and it always starts in the circle with softball.
Hoops is live.
That's
No,
defense.
no, we're
Listen,
good.
defense wins championships.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially in football.
Especially in football.
Especially in football.
I knew that's where this was going. Hey, you can finish
Yeah.
this, but Coach Rhino is trying to call in here, and he wants to ask you some questions.
Oh,
speaking
good.
of defense,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
but
That's
go ahead,
fine.
finish your
Yeah.
question. Finish your answer.
But it starts in the circle. Kendall Walker has been really good for us. Kinsey Paul's been really good for us. We kind of have a 2-headed monster there. Like last night, Kendall pitched real well through 5, and Piketon kind of timed her up, so we threw Kinsey in, and she kind of closed it out. It was just throw them off balance type of thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, Peyton Robinson, with more reps, she'll be one of the pitchers next year.
Yeah.
She's gonna be good.
Yeah.
But then behind us, like last night, for example, we only struck out 1 batter. So in 7 innings, we struck out 1. So that means defensively, we had to
20
field
outs.
a lot of balls
Yep.
to get outs against a good hitting team.
Probably
and
the best hitting team
Probably the best
around
hitting
here,
team.
I would say.
They
yeah.
are. They're really good.
Yeah.
So our outfield has improved a ton throughout the year. There's no drop off in our outfield at all. Because you know how it is. Some teams, like the best players are shortstop and third base, but if you hit it out in the outfield, it's trouble. Well, if you hit it out in our outfield, it's not trouble. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna catch it.
Yeah.
And then third base and shortstop for us is solid with Peyton and Haley there, and second base with Isel's good glove as a junior. And first base we kind of rotate Macy Cox and Kinsey Paul and Kendall Walker. We rotate a lot of girls there, but they're all good.
Yeah.
There's no drop off.
Yeah.
And then Mackenzie Welch behind the plate, like I said, as a freshman starting. That just shows you how good she is.
Yeah, I know. I owned one of your scrimmages before the season. I thought she was really good.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking to myself, I didn't realize she was a freshman at that time. I was like, my gosh, she's got these skills back here. I wanted her to be more vocal, but
Right.
that's when I
Yeah.
kind
That
of
explains
yeah.
why she wasn't.
Yes,
yeah.
and then when I figured out she's a
Yeah.
freshman, like, oh, well, that's why she's
you
not.
go from someone like
Abby Marshall.
Abby Marshall
But-
back there.
But you mean you go from Wheeler
Yeah.
to Abby Marshall
Yeah.
to now you're going to have Mackenzie Welch for 4 years? Like,
Yeah.
that's
That's
a
just solid.
long list of great catchers.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. Just good players.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you got anything else for him? I mean, I'm sure
No.
we could talk to him all night. I think.
Oh,
but we got to get home here in just a little bit.
Yeah. If I do, I'll get him tomorrow before school sometime.
We'll find some time.
Going on a field trip next Tuesday together,
Next Tuesday
so
we
we'll
got.
hash some things out there.
We'll have to
figure it
We'll
out.
have to break it down then.
Yeah.
So
So,
sure, no doubt.
no, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah.
The
Hey,
Panthers.
Before we go,
Yeah.
we were talking before you came in. Does the SVC season end next Friday?
Yeah.
And so does the tournament start the following week?
It starts. So for us, we got Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week, and our first tournament game will be the next Monday.
Gee,
So
many
the 12th.
Christmas.
Okay,
2
so-
days later.
Yeah.
So
okay.
we're now.
So
there's
you
some-
draw this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll find out Sunday.
I
Is
thought
that the
we were
same for
close.
baseball, or is it a week behind?
It's a week later.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So hopefully we don't get any rain and we can
Yeah,
get it
absolutely.
in.
Well, Coach, appreciate you coming in and talking to us tonight. Wish you the best luck the rest of this week and rest of the season. And
Thank you.
thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have McKenna Williams and Haley Hall joining us. Welcome back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show by Sosa. And joining us now, we have Haley Hall next to me and McKenna Williams over there by Coach Hoops. And girls, first of all, thanks for coming in and talking to us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
You know, you guys have had a pretty good year this year, and just talk about the momentum that you've been gaining here, like the last couple of weeks especially. You guys are playing pretty well. Just talk about what you guys have been doing.
Well, I know we just need to keep our energy up because that's what gets us going and gets us hyped. And we have good chemistry, so it's just adding on to that. We're just gonna keep going on with that.
Between all of us girls, we have all been playing together for a very long time, so it's really easy to come together and play our best game. But it really helps with the pre-game talking. So Haley and I will go out there and be like, come on, we need to keep up the energy in the dugout. That does really play a big portion. Our warm-ups, how we do in warm-ups, the communication, all of it.
Do you guys always play hacky sack before a game?
No,
Especially
no,
a
that's our
big
first
game?
time.
we started talking about
Maybe
it.
you
We
should.
bring. I know. I think we do.
I know.
Do you think
We're really
Coach will allow
What
it?
actually broke
Yeah.
after that?
We're pretty bad at it too.
One and done with hacky sack.
Well, I mean, I've watched them play a couple times. I think you have too. And I think the one thing that you talked about, the energy, is I see that when you guys are playing. We're over there in the batting cages having little league practice. I always hear you guys up cheering and, being loud. And, that doesn't show up on the scoreboard, but it does a lot, right? It keeps everybody focused on the game. And just talk about, some of the things you guys do to help lead your team this year.
So like, I don't know, we like just have fun. We have fun.
Have
we
fun.
don't care about like errors. Like
Yeah.
we should need to fix them, but we don't let that affect us the whole game. And so we just have fun with each other. We talk. I don't know.
We all have a ton of confidence too.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's down, we pick each other up really well. Mistakes, we don't ever put the blame on other people. We forget and move on. That's our biggest.
I mean, and that's what you have to do, because it's not like if you guys make an error, it's not, you got to think, it's not like they tried to do that on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it happens. It happens. And I'll be honest, last night from where I was watching both the baseball and the softball game. So I was in the right field fence watching baseball and looking over and watching softball. And I could literally hear you in left field talking to Kendall almost after every pitch, and just continuing to talk to her and talk to her and talk to her. And that's got to just be huge for her confidence, knowing that she has you guys behind her. And I didn't make that up, because I was like, my gosh, McKenna, she really doesn't stop talking, which is a great thing. And in the outfield, not in the classroom, but in the outfield. So, that's huge. And I think, it's something that's contagious too, because they hear you guys doing it. It's just everyone's going to catch on to it, and it just and it makes it fun.
Yeah,
Let's face it,
does.
softball
It really
and baseball sometimes can be long and boring and monotonous. But if you make it fun, it's just that much easier to play. So keep doing what you're doing.
You guys had a really big win last night
Yes, we did.
against Piketon. Just talk us through that game. I mean, obviously, I can see the smile on your face. You're really excited, but that was a big win. Just talk to us. Take us through that game. Kind of what happened, how it went down.
Well, we wanted revenge, not gonna lie, just because like we did not play our best the first time, and we knew we could beat them the second time. So we just had to go out there, play our game, no errors, no like hit the ball, and just have fun and just know and have confidence and just know we can play and we can win.
Last time we played Piketon, I didn't think we played too bad, but I knew it wasn't our potential, and we knew coming in that we were gonna have to win a road game. Eventually, we were going to have to get out on someone else's turf and beat them like we can on ours. And what Haley said with the mistakes thing, I mean, we have a couple of them, but we are doing way better for forgetting it and just moving on. And we are having really good at bats right now with the lineup change and everything. That is I think that plays a big role, because with Kinsey Welch leading off, it's just she's really good at hitting. She's a really great hitter, and she sets the bar. She gets our energy up. Really, she does.
Haley, I'm going to ask you this, and this is the way that last Piketon game ended. Obviously, that was tough. But I would have done the same thing. I would have sent you. I would have, bang bang play at the plate. From that moment on, how disappointing that was. Take me from that moment to the last out of last night, and just talk about the change that this team's gone through from that period of time.
Well, so we just knew that we did not like the outcome of.
I mean, you were
Piketon's
so
first game.
close. You know what I mean?
we
That's
were
what I'm
so
saying.
close, and sorry for being the last out team, but
That wasn't my
haunts
point.
me.
That wasn't my point. But I knew that it did, and I knew that it probably has driven you to make sure that the next time you guys played, you guys were on the other end of it. But just talk about what I was saying was the growth from that moment to the final out of last night that you guys have made.
we played our game. We know they're gonna throw the ball at us, and we know that they know the game pretty well, and they're not scared to throw the ball. So we just had to be smart with the base running and sliding into it.
You got anything for that? I mean, I'm just talking overall. You guys have I think you won 6 of your last 8. You're hitting the ball much better. Your defense has improved. I from just an outsider looking in, watching you guys play, who right now is the best team in the league, to a 1-run game 2 weeks ago, and then to see the improvement, the lineup change. Some people have moved around from second to short, like yourself. Just the growth that this team's made has just been huge, and it's just been really fun to watch.
And the pitching's really made an impact, I think, too. Having Kendall Walker and Kinsey Poole have both really improved. Even putting Peyton on the mound a couple times. Peyton's done really, really well. That was what got us last night, was Kinsey Paul coming out, playing her game, and she shut him out. Even after we had one inning where we kind of let him come back up to us,
Right.
we still ended up coming in clutch and winning a game.
Well, and even Mackenzie's growth from, I think the first time she pitched against Pike and gave up a couple home runs,
Yeah.
and then last night she came in, settled down right away, and it was a different outcome. So, it's just been fun to watch, like I've said.
Yeah, your offense has really just been on fire lately. I think the other night I was there and you guys scored like 22.
21,
Yeah.
21 to 3.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that. And we just had your coach in here, and he talked about all the time you guys put in, like in the hitting barn and stuff like that. Is it just kind of like a mental approach for you guys right now? Is there maybe one or two drills that you think have kind of helped you turn the corner? Or just talk about maybe what's been the biggest thing for you guys offensively this year?
Recently in practice, we have, like before warm-ups, we'll split up. So we'll do outfield first in the field and infield in the hitting barn. And I think that really helps because we get that individual time with Matt Book to help us work on, okay, what am I doing wrong? Like my problem would be getting out to get an inside ball before I let it pass me right here. That's my problem, but I get Matt individually to help me with that. And then in the outfield with Spencer, hitting balls as outfield, all different kinds of places, getting all those extra reps, that really does help coming out and splitting up. That's
And then offensively, like we know hitting wins games, so like we all are determined to be confident, and we know if we're nervous and overthinking in the batter's box, we're not gonna do good. You're probably gonna pop out, and you just got to work on the little things, fundamentals. That's the word. And and we're very confident in hitting right now. So
Do you think that your guys' confidence has come from, I know you played last year as a freshman, but the rest of you guys, do you think your confidence has just come from just the more reps and the more games that you've gotten to play and the more live action? Do you think that
I think
that's
so,
safe
yeah.
to say? Or
I think seeing live pitching consistently, because I mean this is the first time, today was the first time we've had practice in a long time. But I think seeing the live pitching so consistently has really helped too.
well, that's what happens when you have better weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you get to actually
Hopefully
play.
the weather stays good
Yeah.
now.
Please.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's looking that good for the rest of this
Yeah,
week.
a lot of
but
rain this week, I think. A lot of rain.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, for
Get it
sure.
all out of the way tonight, maybe.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about tomorrow's game, Southeastern at home, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So like we did not play good the first game. We all had very bad day. It was cold, but tomorrow hopefully it's gonna be nice and we're gonna come out strong. And we're coming back from a big win, so we're gonna be excited. We're gonna bring the energy, and we're just gonna focus on the little things and just focus on step by step winning.
Like Haley said, we did get defeated last time, but they're a great team. They have clutch hits. I know a lot of the times I had nice line drives out to left field. They're a great team, and we have to stay right there with them because they're in the same boat we are. I mean, they played Piketon tonight.
close to
Close game, almost won.
beat
and-
Zane Trace last night, I
Yeah.
think. So
They did beat Zane Trace. So
playing well. Should be a good game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, just talking to these two, I hear it when I'm out there, like at the cages, but loosey goosey, fun, relaxed, and just having fun, And when you do that and you start playing well, it goes a long way. You get some momentum, you get that confidence, and you never know what's in front of you.
If you guys can talk a little bit, like obviously the change in coaches from last year to this year, just kind of talk about Spencer's. And I know you had to play for your dad, which obviously I'm, know all about that stuff. But just talk about kind of the difference with Spence, and is he relaxed? Is there? I mean, because I know coaching football with him, I know he can be intense and things like that. But overall, is his just demeanor more of a laid back and kind of build confidence in you guys and trust you guys to play the game?
Yeah, he's pretty confident in us. He just expects a lot. Like if we make a stupid error, he knows we can do better, and so he just expects it. And if we make a stupid error, he'll tell us.
Yeah.
So it's definitely different, just because last year, like he was kind of Rob was a little laid back just because we had 9 seniors and
Right.
like they knew they all played together. But this year, it's new coaching, and it's like, okay.
Uh-huh.
And like Spencer, he's doing great. He's keeping everyone lifted up, and he's just a great coach.
Well, I got one other thing. Have we moved Coach Atkins off of the bucket since a couple nights ago he took a spill, I heard.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was,
yeah.
it was
you-
so fun.
Do you guys laugh at that? Or
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we did laugh,
Okay.
but
Did he laugh?
Yeah, he laughed.
Okay, good. If he laughed, you can laugh. But, Coach Atkins, I'm not sure. I haven't got to talk to him about that yet, but that story's circulating, so it is true.
Well, if it was
Yeah.
one of us, he would have made fun of us too.
I'm,
So,
I'm the one that hit the
You
ball.
did?
Out. Yeah.
All right.
but
All right.
Spencer is really a great coach.
Yeah.
He is very patient with us. I'll give him that. He really is.
Well, Coach, you got anything else?
I mean, I don't know. These girls could probably talk all night, so we probably better wrap it up.
Yeah.
So they can get in bed early for a big game tomorrow.
It is 8:30.
They got
Goodness.
prom this week. A lot of distractions. A rivalry game on Friday. So big week for Unita softball, and obviously appreciate you guys coming in here and wish you guys nothing but the best moving forward.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate
thanks.
it, girls. Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
When we come back, we're going to have a couple coaches lined up on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline. welcome back to the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show by Sosa. Joining us now, we have Unio Du Bois baseball coach Tony Taylor. Coach, you out there?
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time to talk to us tonight. I know we just took a peek outside and the rain is pouring down, and it didn't look too miserable. I'm kind of dreading this walk out to my truck here in a couple of minutes, but you guys probably were able to at least get a good practice in tonight, and I think you still been playing pretty well, still undefeated in the SVC, and I think the one thing that's really impressed me is just kind of your depth on your pitching staff. You kind of had to go down to pitchers 2, 3, and 4, and your guys they keep throwing strikes and they keep getting guys out, and I think that's been a big help for you here recently.
Yeah, it's just Jimmy Lump does a great job with the pitchers, man. He works with them, and he's done it for years for me. And he's got a lot of the credit for keeping those guys intact and working with them all the time and encouraging them. And so that's a big help.
Yeah, Coach, I was able to take your game in last night. Looked like KB threw pretty well against Piketon at Piketon. I think he only gave up one hit, a couple walks. Kind of just talk about his performance last night, and I think that moves him to 4-0 on the season.
Well, I mean, thought there that he was hurting there, so I didn't know. I mean, before this, and they had set out for 4 or 5 days, and so after went through with his knee and stuff, we just don't know if he's done or. I mean, it's a tough thing, and he's a tough kid, and he persevered through it and stuff. But then, first when he pitched against Huntington last week, he didn't have it. His hamstring was messed up, and he wasn't doing very good. And he made the first inning, but he got some things fixed, and he pitched real well last night. I mean, he was throwing pretty hard and smart, and he just looked a whole different guy out there than he did last week.
Yeah, it felt like he kept them off balance pretty well. I don't think Piketon got a hit till maybe the 4th or 5th inning off of him. So, that's huge. But obviously pitching's big. But talk about your guys' lineup. I know at the top, you know everyone's familiar with Jackson, Zikafus, and Welch, and then obviously KB in the middle. Talk about kind of maybe your lower part of your lineup. I felt like last night they were on base a lot. I know Caden Cutright came in late, got a bunt single, ended up scoring. Just talk about those guys in the bottom half of your lineup some, if you would.
Well, they're working hard, and they're every day they're trying to get better. They're down in the cage and they're hitting and working. So hard work works, and that's what they're doing. And just got to put the ball in play a little bit more than we have been. I mean, we've been striking out too many times, but we're getting better.
Yeah, Coach, I was just going to comment. I think we talked about this the last time we had you on here, but I just want to comment on how good Keegan Snyder does for you back there. I was able to ump your guys' game against Huntington, and it was just impressive to kind of listen to him, kind of talk the pitchers through the game, and I think it was Callaway maybe that came in and pitched against Huntington, and he was he kind of kept him right where he wanted him, gave him a nice big target. And the one thing that cracked me up, and people around this area, they need to know who Keegan Snyder is, but if they don't, he was joking with me. He said, yeah, when we throw it down every inning, he goes, I just kind of lob it down there. Maybe somebody will try to steal against me. And, I think it was like the 3rd or 4th inning, and somebody tried to steal, and he gunned him out. But I thought that was funny. He just kind of baiting people a little bit, but he does just such a really good job for you guys back there behind the plate.
Oh, it's been 4 great years. I mean, he's just been a centerpiece of our whole ball team. I mean, if you don't have a catcher, you're not very good. You're not going to win very many games, and people are going to take advantage of it real quick. The good teams will, especially. But yeah, he stops a lot of things that makes the pitchers better, makes our whole team better.
Coach, go ahead and kind of we're it always goes fast, but a week and a half left in the season. Talk to us what you guys have the rest of this week, and then finishing up next week.
Well, I tell you, we played tonight, and we finished the game up from last Friday out at Paint Valley. Drove out there, and we started 1-0 in the second inning, and it was 1-0 going to the seventh, and I mean it was both pitchers were pitching good, and then the seventh inning we scored 3 runs and went up 4-0. And then we got it to 4-1 and had 2 runners on when we ended the game. So it was a good ball game. Paint Valley's, they're a good ball team. And I mean, the record hasn't been that well, but they've lost a lot of close games. And, Shane does a great job with them. I wouldn't want to play them later on.
Especially D7.
Yeah. I mean it's, well, like I said, I'm sitting there thinking, man, I don't know if we're going to get out of here or not.
The crazy thing is, it's almost safe to say that Paint Valley's. I think they're in last place in the conference, but it'd be safe to say that that's been your toughest 2 games in the league.
Yeah,
which is just that just shows the depth of the league and how the game of baseball works.
Yeah, they beat Westfall the night before,
Right.
and they're coming. I mean, we barely beat them tonight. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing with Paint Valley is that they've been solid defensively all year. And when we talked to Coach Combs there a week or 2 ago, is just about some of his younger kids getting some confidence and experience at the plate, and maybe playing a little bit of small ball. And I think that's a big win for sure, and it keeps you guys atop the SVC. And you guys, you play some really tough teams too, and I feel like, you guys are kind of, KB's getting back healthy, and it's kind of setting you guys up, sitting pretty good for like a good tournament run. And my question is going to be, does baseball, like basketball and football, where you guys are ranked by computers, or is that still like coaches, they go in and they vote?
I'm not sure on how it does. I don't really care how it does because, I mean, whoever you play, I mean, it's tough. It doesn't matter. Anybody can beat you. So, I mean, whatever they put you. And, I mean, I've been put the worst, the best, whatever. And, it's just, you can't worry about it. You just got players in front of you and go on.
I think that's the one unique thing about baseball too is, you could play, let's say you're a number 1 seed and you're playing an 8 or 9 seed. Well, if the 8 or 9 seed is an 8 or 9 seed because they only have one really good pitcher, and you get that one good pitcher, you better show up and play or your season's over. And I just think that's the crazy thing about baseball is you face another team that has a pitcher as good as your number 1 or better. You could go home the first game of the tournament.
Yeah, and that's been a few years back, but I remember, we played Benton County and, and their record wasn't very good, but they had a good lefty, and he was, and their guys were like, oh, they suck, they won like 4 or 5 games, but hell, he won all 4 or 5 games, what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
And we got to play them. We're the number 1 seed. We got them right off the rip, and I think we only beat them like, I don't know, it was real close, and it was real close, and then like 6th, 7th inning, he got a little wild, but I mean, he's like, oh my God, we're going to get beat.
I think that pitcher's name was Ash Abley, if I remember right. I don't know if that rings a bell.
Probably.
Yeah.
You're breaking out the Benton County names that only you would know.
Yeah, that's right. He was a pretty good pitcher, and I think his senior year, that was about all they had. And I think you're right. They only won about 4 or 5 games, but he had all of them. So.
And he about got us.
Yeah. What's the rest of the week look like for you guys, Coach?
We got Southeastern tomorrow at home, and then we go to St. Trace on Friday.
So nothing Thursday then, and then obviously prom this weekend.
Right.
That's always that's something that you have to deal with as a baseball coach for sure. So you guys were able to get the game in tonight. I know you'll remember what I'm talking about. When you guys do get to practice at this time of the year, is it more a lot of talking, working through things, you standing up there talking to the guys, and going on and on and on, and then just letting them go, or do you hit them in the cage and get out of there? How do you set up your practices this time of year, Coach?
Well, it just depends on how the weather's going. You don't get too many days of practice at this time. And it seems like the days we have practice, it's like raining or something. So, I mean, you go inside. But now I'm not much a talker. We just, we try to get everything we can in and work hard.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate you calling in, and I'm sure we'll have you on the show another time, probably closer we get to the tournament. You don't know how the tournament format works. Is that it's not this weekend, it's next weekend you draw, right?
I don't even know.
Okay. Well, whenever we figure it out, obviously, hopefully you guys can continue on and wrap up this, give yourself a chance to win the SVC and have some momentum going into the tournament. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
All right, Hoops, sir.
All righty. Take care.
Thanks, Coach.
See you. Now, what I was saying was, and he knew what I was talking about, back when we had Coach Neff, who was a talker, would literally spend the whole time practice talking. We'd only have like an hour and a half window to get a practice in before it'd start raining. Well, he talked so long it'd start raining. He'd be like, well, you guys better get out of here. And T would be over there wanting to practice. He was young back then, wanting to get out and, hit those fungos I'm talking about. And he'd cut us out of there, and Taylor would just shake his head and be like, Donnie, you talked the whole time. We didn't even get to practice. And Mr. Neff would just tell him, sometimes, Tone, it's better if they just hear it.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, the guy won 600-some baseball games, so I guess he knew what he was talking about. But
Can't argue with that.
That's what I was bringing up to see if Taylor followed that same approach or not. It doesn't sound like he does.
Yeah.
Man, a few words.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, I think that's going to be our wrap for our show tonight. Appreciate everybody tuning in and listening to us and watching us, and appreciate our guests. We had Waverly Boys Baseball, Coach Noble and a couple of their star players, Coach Spencer Smith, Uniola Softball, a couple of their star players, and Coach Taylor tonight. And really appreciate them taking the time here to talk to us tonight. So any final thoughts before we get off here, Coach?
No, just that was another good show. I thought, anytime we can bring different programs in here and allow them to kind of highlight their program and where they are in their season and where they're headed, I think it's just good for the kids and in the area. And, hopefully we get a couple more guests in studio next Tuesday. And,
absolutely.
Be really crunch time in terms of league titles and stuff. We'll be able to talk about maybe a little bit better of a picture of who's going where there, and we'll know where this girls softball draw is after this weekend. So a lot of stuff happening, and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, for Christian Spradlin, Matt Hoops, and myself, Jeran Cox, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday night on the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show.